Stephen Delarge is one of many executives in this country who have been on both sides of the desk when it comes to job interviewing. At the beginning of his career, he found himself in the position of interviewee, answering questions about his skills and career goals. As he progressed in management, Stephen Delarge found himself in the position of interviewer, facing off with nervous applicants. It was actually through this experience that Stephen Delarge learned the most about the interview process. Stephen Delarge saw many common mistakes and observed behaviors that made certain candidates stand out from the rest. Recently, Stephen Delarge spoke with Presentation Solutions about his thoughts on what gives certain employees an edge during the employment process. Presentation Solutions: we all think we know the basics, but the more I learn about the job interview process, the more I realize I don't know. What are some of the basics we need to know when starting a job search? Stephen Delarge: tardiness is a no-no. Employers often see tardiness to the interview as a sign of poor punctuality in general. I recommend showing up early just in case. Presentation Solutions: what about dress? I know there's a big issue for many job seekers. Stephen Delarge: it can be tough, knowing what to wear to a job interview. It does depend on the position, but in the business world, you can rarely go wrong with a suit. Even if you're interviewing in an office that's business casual, save the khakis for after you've landed the job. Presentation Solutions: can someone prepare for answering questions ahead of time? Stephen Delarge: sure. Sadly, many of the questions asked in job interviews today are the same questions that have been asked for years. There are quite a few websites that list out typical interview questions. Prepare your responses to those, but make sure your answers in the actual interview don't sound canned. Presentation Solutions: today's interviewers tend to ask more behavioral questions, right? Stephen Delarge: yes, but even those have become pretty predictable. Describe a time you thought outside the box, that sort of thing. The key to answering all of these questions is to make your answers unique. That can be a challenge. Presentation Solutions: any suggestions on how to do this? Stephen Delarge: giving examples of things you've done can really help. As in, I was the top salesperson in the company for 3 years straight. Or, I was promoted 7 times in the 6 years I was with my last company. Presentation Solutions: what about those tricky questions, like name your biggest weakness? Stephen Delarge: I'm often asked about that one, and the truth is, there's no easy answer. The best tip is to take a negative trait and explain how you've turned it around. For instance, I tend to be very impatient, but I've learned that keeping a to-do list helps me stay focused. Presentation Solutions: thank you for speaking to us today. Stephen Delarge is an Albany, New York business executive with decades of experience in the business industry.